Hey, I'm Congilio, and I'm here at American Musical Supply. The reason I started playing guitar was because I played saxophone before and I couldn't sing and play saxophone at the same time, and I did want to sing and play at the same time. You know, early influences that I might have had, it's interesting because I did come from a family of guitar players. It wasn't like a Partridge Family kind of thing. They were pretty dispersed throughout town, but it was around enough to influence me to say, I like that. But on a more like sort of famous influence thing, it was very much, it was a cross-section of like classic rock leaning to like the southern rock kind of thing, and even Motown and R&B. That was a lot of my early influences. Of course, once I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan, it was kind of over. At that point, I was like, that's what I want to do. Well, there was a point in my life where I was really interested in country music, and still am. And I remember seeing the American Music Shop show on what was the Nashville network at the time, and I'd never seen somebody play the way Brent Mason was playing. And I sought him out and ended up having this sort of like weekend guitar lesson with him. I think one of the things I tried to impart was that I wasn't trying to be a Brent Mason clone. I was just trying to take some of the things he did, like the hybrid picking, and his sense of his feel in his pocket was really incredible. And all of that stuff has kind of worked its way into my playing, even though I'm not in a situation playing Chattahoochee or something like that, covers of that kind of stuff. So it filtered in, which all influences in teaching does, to make hopefully your own style. I did get to be on the Nashville Show a few times as a backing musician. What was really cool about that show was they had folks like Buddy Miller and Colin Linden involved in making sure the music was right, made sure it looked right, made sure the players, I mean, if there was a P bass on the track, the player had a P bass. I've done things where they've brought me an AC-30 because they thought that that's what I was playing, or should be playing through. And the funniest thing was when they had real pedal boards, wired up, lights on, plugged in, and they were ready to roll, and the guy goes, make sure that volume pedal's down. And he was serious, because they didn't want it to like ever come across that something wasn't natural. So I had to push my volume pedal down, even though I was totally lip syncing to the track. You know, it was pretty fun. I got into teaching probably a lot of the ways guitar players do, where it's a byproduct of playing guitar. And somebody says, oh man, I'd love for you to show me something. And I worked in music retail a little bit, and I would watch the instructors, and they were always great and had a great clientele, and I thought, I want to move into that a little bit, because you could come in to work at 3 and leave by 8 or 9, which was great for a long time. And I enjoyed it because I started to kind of learn more about music in general. I'm not a trained musician at all. I didn't go to music school. It's blossomed into this sort of online presence that I now have as far as an instructor online. Well, when it comes to creating a course or curriculum at TrueFire, they're heavily involved in recommending what we might be good for, or what might be a good fit, our style, our personality, and the material, and that sort of thing. Thankfully, TrueFire has used me as a guinea pig a lot of times and has said, we've never done this course, but we want you to do it. And we've kind of written it as we've gone sometimes, and it comes off being really good. And then that sets the template for the next 5 versions of that by other teachers. So it's a really cool relationship that I can't be more thankful for. Session players are my heroes. They're always what I wanted to be, because I love to play so many different styles, so many different guitars, and different amps, different pedals, applications. And when I started finding out who Tim Pierce was more and more, he was sort of the West Coast version of what I wanted to be. And, so when I got to meet Tim, it was cool that he already kind of knew who I was. And when he said, when you're in LA, come and see me, and we did some lessons together, where we taught concepts through his channel, which was really, really fun. And like I said, when I sought him out, he was doing things that I was already doing on sessions that gave me such validation that I was headed down the right path. It was nice to get some validation from people that you look up to. You treat each session like it's your last. That's how I do it, you know, because I don't want to phone it in or mail it in or any of that kind of stuff. So that's an important thing. Learning how to find your spots in the music only comes from listening to a lot of other guitar players do it before you. Whether it be a funky rhythm thing here, a big whole note chord, what I call wallpaper guitar, creates a backdrop, all those things you have to kind of know what's going on. The style of music sort of leads you down that path. But then also on the flip side, be completely prepared to turn on the pedal you never use and play something weird that might impress the songwriter or producer. What's funny is in this day and age, the bulk of my session work is at home. I do stuff from my home studio, and thankfully there's a lot of great products out there that allow me to do that at a reasonable volume. But what's cool is I'm getting contacted from people around the world now, whereas I hadn't before, whether it be from me working with a gal from Ireland, people just did a track for somebody in Boston, someone in Pennsylvania, you know, it's all over the place, and it's usually across the board stylistically too. Well, it's aside from getting to play the best acoustic guitars in the world on a session, getting to use my electric guitar equipment through the Universal Audio aux is really been the biggest game changer for me. I've never gone to a company and literally pointed the finger and said, I need to be your demo guy. And thankfully that happened because I was so passionate about the technology. And then once I found out some of the brains behind it, folks like James Santiago, who are involved in making this product, these are golden ears and golden hands too, that are helping to have us guitar players get our beloved tone anywhere, at any volume, at any time. So that product really helps me for sure. In addition to the teaching and the session work, I tour with a really great singer-songwriter. Her name's Lucy Silvis. I've been playing with Lucy for a couple years, and Lucy's been able to take me all across the country, working with artists like Chris Stapleton, Miranda Lambert, Little Big Town. If it wasn't for Lucy, I don't know if I'd have gotten to play Red Rocks or the Forum, some of these really iconic places that were on my bucket list. In addition to that, I'm producing some artists out of Nashville and working on my own stuff too, trying to write more songs for a new record. It's been about 2.5 years now since I put an EP out. It's about time I get to it, you know, try to get all that other stuff done so I can accomplish my own stuff too.